multiple consequences, while also warning individuals against carrying arms to intimidate the electorate. He noted that only the statutory security agencies will be allowed to participate in the election. 38th Commissioner of Police in Abia State, Danladi Sir, has assumed office in Umuahia with a promise to apply intelligence gathering and technology in the tracking and arrest of criminal elements in the state. This is even as he has promised that there would be respect for human rights under his watch as CP. Issa, who made the pledge after receiving handover notes from the immediate past police commissioner, Kenechukwu Oemeli, said the mission in Abia is to ensure peace, promote the conducive environment, as well as collaborate with all stakeholders in sustaining peace. The new police commissioner, who also identifies sister security agencies and community support, is key of his success in Abia, promised to be fair, impartial, and accessible to Abia residents. Issa, who warned the officers in the command against engaging in corrupt practices, said that any officer caught in unprofessional conduct will face appropriate, decisive, and punitive measures. Operatives of the Onikon Division of Lagos Police Command have arrested one suspect, Yakubu Yusuf, for vandalizing a segment of the 3rd Mainland Bridge railings. This was disclosed in a statement on X.com by the Lagos State Police Command on Wednesday. According to the statement, Yusuf was arrested following information received by the division on the activities of some vandals operating along the old school of nursing area of the 3rd Mainland Bridge. The statement revealed investigation is ongoing to arrest other suspects. Lagos State government has raised the alarm over an imminent building collapse at Mopo 20 Barracks, Onibombo, in the Ikeja area of the state. This is as the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency is set to begin an emergency evacuation at the Old Block 3 section of the barracks. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the permanent secretary of the LASEMA, Damilola Oke, said its response team had assessed some parts of the structure and found them to be in a precarious condition. Oke noted that the building and adjacent structures will also be evacuated immediately to prevent any loss of life or property. However, urged members of the public within the vicinity to remain calm and refrain from spreading misinformation on social media. He also assured that the situation was being closely monitored and managed. The first public relations officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, in a statement in July, disclosed that the police were carrying out a comprehensive renovation of some police barracks in the state. He noted that the renovation will be carried out in partnership with the state government. Ogun State government has launched the rural maternal health emergency transport service as part of efforts to reduce maternal mortality in the state. Speaking at the flags off of the program, which took place in Odeda Local Government Secretariat, the wife of the Ogun State Governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, said the state government is making efforts to reduce maternal death through various interventions that include employment of over 200 nurses and midwives into the health system. She noted that the state government has also procured about 100 tricycle ambulances and distributed them among all the 20 local government areas, stressing that all the interventions were done to ensure the safe delivery of all women and children. While identifying an infection, high blood pressure, unsafe abortion, and obstructed labor as major causes of maternal morbidity and mortality in developing countries, Mrs. Abiodun disclosed that approximately 830 women die from preventable causes related to pregnancy and childbirth daily. On her part, the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tommy Koka, said the initiative will positively transform the health and well-being of mothers, stressing that it is the beginning of a new phase in the state's efforts to combat maternal mortality in the state. Analysts have commended the ban by the Oyo State government on teachers meeting during school hours. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Society Watch, a public affairs analyst, Confident Tuadom, maintained that the ban was necessary in order to checkmate and enhance teachers' activities during school hours.
Waste time and the students achieve nothing. So it's a right step in the right direction for me, for teachers to stop holding meetings during school hours. If you want to hold your meetings, probably wait till after school. Give yourself that 30 minutes after the closure of the day. Sit down, discuss. Nobody holds you. Or you come very early in the morning.
Meanwhile, Mr. Tuadom tasked teachers and head of schools on compliance as well as a swift implementation by the Oyo State government.
Hold your meetings and not to be calling teachers out of the classroom. In fact, sometimes when these meetings hold during break period, it extends till after. Yes, after, and the students will be there doing nothing. But I just wish that this does not just end like this. You know, there are several other lapses that is going on in our education system, and the government of Nigeria need to rise up to.
This is coming out. The Oyo State government has placed a ban on any form of meeting by the head teachers or teachers during school hours within and outside any public school premises in the state, saying whoever indulges in such acts will be severely dealt with. The chairman of the State Universal Basic Education Board announced this while monitoring schools' resumption in Ibadan, the state capital. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde on Wednesday declined assent to the presumptive tax bill passed by the State House of Assembly in consideration of the current plight of the people. Makinde declined his assent to the bill because it would inflict more pain on the poor masses in the state, saying that the people are hungry and angry as a result of the current economic reality in the country. Makinde made his position on the bill known while flagging off the upgrade of Samuel Akintola Airport to an international standard, saying that he would not implement the bill for the moment. The governor, however, praised the Assembly for the initiative, which he believed was directed at raising the internally generated revenue in the state. Last week, Thursday, the Oyo State House of Assembly passed into law the State Presumptive Tax Bill 2023, which provides for the imposition, administration and collection of presumptive tax on individuals and entities whose income cannot be ascertained due to lack of financial records. Southwest PDP governors declare that their total support for the acting PDP national chairman, Ambassador Umar Liya Damagum, and his working committee. Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State says he and his brother, Governor Demola Adeleke of Osun State, agreed to support the PDP national chairman.
And I'm glad also that our acting national chairman and members of his National Working Committee are here. I was reading yesterday that there was another meeting in Bauchi by some NWC members. Let me say clearly, I've been discussing with my brother on our way here. We are 100% support of Mark Damagun-led NWC. Whatever decision you take, we will support you to reposition our party. And let me also say this, I don't think this is the right time, even if we have issues within ourselves. We have an important election on Saturday. So we should all just rally around and deliver our candidate. We took an important decision yesterday at the Executive Council meeting.
Osun State Independent Electoral Commission on Wednesday says 3 political parties fielding candidates in the next local government election in the state risk disqualification over improper nomination of flag bearers. The OSEC chairman, Hashim Abioye, while presenting the report of the Commission's verification committee to journalists in Oshobo, said nearly all the 18 political parties that nominated candidates committed one infraction or the other. Abioye said All Progressives Congress, Allied People's Movement, and Action People's Party committed infractions that could not be overlooked as they did not properly nominate candidates for the chairmanship position in about 7 local government areas. According to him, the names of the candidates submitted by the affected political parties were different from the names on the nomination forms of the same political parties submitted to the commission. When contacted for a reaction, Osun APC spokesperson Mr. Kola Olabisi told newsmen that the report was not at the disposal of the party yet, assuring that the necessary organ of the APC would direct the next line of action after studying the documents. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has denied reports that Yahaya Bello, former governor of Kogi State, is in custody. Recall that the director of the Yahaya Bello Media Office, Michael O'Hare, said that he had honored the invitation of the anti-graft agency on Wednesday. According to the release, the former governor was accompanied to the EFCC headquarters by the high-profile Nigerians. But the anti-graft agency, in a statement by its spokesperson, Dele Oyewole, said that Bello remained wanted with a subsisting warrant of arrest. The commission had declared Bello wanted after a series of failed attempts to get him arrested over alleged money laundering to the tune of 80 billion naira. Benue State government has said it has taken measures in response to the rise in water levels of River Benue following the reported opening of the Labo Dam on the 2024 flood prediction by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency. The government said it has opened internally displaced persons camps in 18 local government areas in the state as measures to mitigate the effect of the impending flood disaster. Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management said the camps are located at the International Market Makurdi, Suswan Makurdi, Akume Atongo Stadium, Katsina La, and RCM Primary School Logo. Kunde explained that it was imperative for people living in flood-prone areas to relocate for their own safety. ATN reports that NEMET had recently predicted that several local government areas in the state will be affected by the impending flood following the opening of the Labo Dam in neighboring Republic of Cameroon. The acting executive secretary of the Benue State Emergency Management Agency, Besema James Lopu, said the agency was fully prepared to cater for the needs of those who will be affected by flooding. He said the agency would supply food and non-food materials to victims of the flood. Nigerian Geological Survey Agency has allayed fears over earth tremors experienced in the Federal Capital Territory, urging residents not to panic. A statement by the Director General of the agency, Professor Olusegun Ige, disclosed the NGSA monitored the tremors and found them to be low and did not pose any threat to the environment. The NGSA said its team also visited the affected areas for on-the-spot assessment of the event. From the accounts of the residents of the affected areas, the observations by the NGSA team, and findings from earlier interpretations of the airborne geophysical data over the area and adjoining areas, said the following conclusions were made. It advised the public to also be aware that the NGSA seismic stations are being monitored in real time to ensure prompt alert on any major event. Nigerian Army has announced that its troops have successfully ambushed and neutralized more terrorists and recovered weapons and logistics. In a statement on its social media platform, the Army reported that on 17 September 2024, troops on a sting operation in Kaduna State, acting on credible intelligence, intercepted terrorists attempting to cross from Alawa Forest in Niger State to Benin Gwari in Kaduna State. In a separate operation, troops acted on intelligence about about the movement of terrorists at Hayin Nakwakina village in Jiwa local government area of Kaduna State. The troops successfully rescued the adoptees after a shootout that overwhelmed the terrorists, compelling them to flee. The rescued hostages have been reunited with their families. The Nigerian army appreciates the continued support and cooperation of the public in providing credible information to the troops. Borno State Police Command has rolled out a series of post-flood guidelines aimed at managing the aftermath of the recent flooding in Maiduguri, the state capital. In a press release on Wednesday, Police Public Relations Officer Ahmed Wakil revealed that the Commissioner of Police, Mohammed Yusufu, underscored the importance of caution and vigilance in the dealing with potential risks following the disaster. As part of the guidelines, residents are urged to stay alert and report any suspicious activity or individuals, avoid flooded areas to reduce the risk of waterborne diseases and accidents, and be mindful of potential looting and theft. The public is also advised to cooperate with the emergency responders and humanitarian workers while verifying information before sharing to prevent the spread of misinformation. The command called on the public to remain calm and vigilant. Authorities emphasized that collective effort is crucial in ensuring the safety and well-being of all residents during the post-flood period. Makurdi Magistrates Court on Wednesday ordered the remand of one Adera Sunday, 40, accused of defiling his 16-year-old stepdaughter. The magistrate, Mrs. Sonia Yange, did not take the plea of the defendant, a resident of Welfare Quarters, Makurdi, for want of jurisdiction. Ayange therefore ordered that the defendant should be remanded at the Makurdi Correctional Center pending further investigation. She adjourned the case on October 11 for further mention. Earlier, the police prosecutor Inspector James told the court that the teenager reported the case at the State Criminal Investigation Department in Makurdi on August 30. The prosecutor said that the complainant informed the police that her stepfather had been taking sexual advantage of her since she was 13 years of age without her consent. Iwache said the investigation into the matter was still ongoing and prayed the court another date for mention. He said the offense contravenes Section 284 of the Penal Code Laws of Benue State 2004. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has commended the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, of his swiftness and efficacy in handling the state's recent flood disaster. He urged the governor to overcome the unfortunate event by showing his leadership and courageous qualities. ATN reported that not less than 414,000 people were displaced and another 30 killed by the devastating flood in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, last week. The flood follows the collapse of the Alau Dam, which overflowed into its banks, thereby sending floodwaters from about 10 kilometers away into Maiduguri. The former president, in a message of sympathy to the governor, a copy which was made available to newsmen in Abeokuta on Wednesday, expressed his heartfelt sympathy to the government and the people of Borno State for the huge loss of lives and property caused by the recent flood disaster. Obasanjo, however, stressed that it is usually amid disasters of this nature that the qualities of good leadership and courage become manifest. He commended the government of Borno State for the swiftness and efficacy with which they rose to the challenge, giving every possible support in their continued effort to provide succor to those who have been dislocated. Zamfara State Governor Daud Alawa signed an executive order banning all forms of mining activities in the state. According to him, the order will be in force until necessary arrangements are made between the federal and state governments on how to benefit from mining activities. The governor said that he doesn't have a comprehensive list of miners in the state, adding that he does not know how much the federal government is earning from mining in Zamfara State. Lawa stressed that there is a high level of connection between banditry and artisanal mining in Zamfara, noting that his administration will collaborate with the federal government to ensure that the most wanted bandits leader, Bello Turji, is killed. The governor said that there should be a synergy between the federal and state governments in the area of mining, since mining is the exclusive but the belongs to the states. Speaking further, he said that the administration will collaborate with the federal government to ensure that Turji is killed so as to reduce the level of banditry in the northwest. Bauchi State Police Command has apprehended a dismissed military officer, Lance Corporal Ali Adama, for allegedly defrauding 3 job applicants. According to the spokesman of the command, SP Ahmed Wakili, in a statement issued on Wednesday, the suspect, who hails from Obi local government area of Nasarawa State, was arrested for impersonation, cheating, criminal misappropriation, and criminal breach of trust. Wakili explained that the arrest was made by officers attached to the B Divisional Police Headquarters after complaints were lodged by 3 victims who claimed that Adamu had collected 200,000 naira from them, promising to secure employment for them in the Nigerian army. Despite the payment, applicants were never invited by the Nigerian Army Depot for training as promised. Upon arrest, Adamu confessed that he had been dismissed from the Nigerian Army a few months earlier for being absent without leave for a year. He also admitted to using the money for personal expenses. The command therefore urged the public to remain cautious and report individuals offering fraudulent job opportunities. The command also assured that Adamu will face prosecution after the investigation is concluded. You are watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be right back after this break. Please stay with us. And we are back. Thank you for staying with us. This is still the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. Federal government said it has commenced a holistic investigation into the root causes of the recent earth tremors that rappelled Mbappe, a suburb of the Federal Capital Territory. The tremors, which began on the night of September 16, 2024, alarmed residents with reports of 6 to 8 seismic events being recorded. They were said to be first detected around 11 p.m., leading to a widespread concern during loud noise and ground shaking in the vicinity. The Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Mr. Uche Naji, assured the public that a team of experts from the Center for Geodesy and Geodynamics, an arm of the National Space Research and Development Agency, was actively examining the tremors using sophisticated earthquake analysis software. This significant geological disturbance, experts believe, may be attributed to reaction from faults within the Mpape local government locality, a region that's experienced similar tremors in the past, notably between September 5 and 7, 2018. Naji emphasized that these tremors have understandably caused alarm. Residents should remain calm as NASDRA continues to monitor the situation closely. He also assured that the government is analyzing comprehensive data from the seismic and GNSS stations to formulate mitigation strategies. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has said his ministry is collaborating closely with the United States government to promote and strengthen press freedom in Nigeria. Idris stated this in an interview with newsmen shortly after he met with the United States Ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Richard Mills, in his office on Wednesday. The minister emphasized that Tinubu administration's high priority on press freedom and assured the government's commitment to further enhance media freedom in the country. He said they also discussed how to forge a common front in the fight against misinformation and disinformation in the country. In his remarks, Ambassador Mills said his meeting with the minister is to discuss ways to strengthen the existing relationship between the U.S. government and the ministry, especially regarding press freedom and journalists' rights. He recognized the efforts of the minister in championing the cause of press freedom and journalists' rights in Nigeria. The U.S. envoy, who acknowledged the huge challenge posed by disinformation, especially in democracies around the world, while they also shared thoughts and ideas with the minister on how to tackle the challenge. Former head of state General Abdulsalami Abubakar has advised the federal government to immediately prefer a lasting solution to the present hardship ravaging Nigerians. Abdulsalami gave the advice when he hosted a delegation of Campaign for Democracy, a civil society organization in Minna, Niger State. According to him, people cannot afford 3 square meals as they battle the hike of fuel price with attendant increase in school fees and transportation costs. According to Abdulsalam, the lack of funds in everybody's pockets is making life difficult for the citizens. The former head of state, as far as he was concerned, giving palliatives to the people was not the answer to the high prices of food and other items across the country. He therefore advised those planning to protest against the economic crisis on October 1 to do so peacefully. Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria have called on federal government to immediately withdraw a controversial circular it claims discriminates against healthcare workers by denying them their lawful leave of absence. In a communique issued after its National Executive Council meeting on Wednesday, MD Khan expressed displeasure over the government's new policy, which is described as a violation of civil service rules. The communique signed by MDCAN President Prof. Aminu Mohammed and Secretary Professor Dayabu Ibrahim emphasized that the circular contradicts established civil service rules. The policy allegedly, in fact, forces doctors and other healthcare professionals to resign from their position instead of granting them leave of absence as prescribed by the law. They have called on relevant authorities to address these pressing issues and ensure fairness and safety of healthcare professionals across the country. The association called the move discriminatory and urged the government to reverse the decision. The association also raised their concerns over the escalating insecurity in the country, noting that doctors and healthcare workers are often targeted even within hospital premises. Analysts have identified several internal irregularities and lapses on play of the Labour Party. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Conversation, a social-political analyst, Cheesy, stated that the ill administration of the Labour Party, if not properly handled, is capable of renewing the political group to extent.
For nothing. You can say, you can make sacrifice for the party to go. Who is going to recognize that? I heard, in one of these news item that he said, look, they are not recognizing the Nemade, that, of course, the people that are called together, a governor, a sitting governor, of a political party is not the leader of the party.
Mr. Chizoye Masila urged the Labour Party members on a more projectable approach and strategy to move the party forward.
But let us organize the election. So what is his fear? Why did he not just go and now conduct his own congress and now make himself again? Why not come and face the election? Are they saying that the woman now is now the national chairman? They're not saying no. Go and conduct the election. They gave the woman even dates to conduct the election. But while you're conducting this election, we have elections in our hands so that INEC will begin to.
As the Independent National Electoral Commission said it no longer recognizes Julius Abure as the national chairman of the Labour Party, labeling his continued claim to the position as illegal and unconstitutional. This position was made clear in the counter affidavit submitted by Ayuba Mohammed on executive order in INEC's Litigation and Prosecution Department recently in response to the legal suit filed by the Labour Party. Joint Action Committee of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions had announced plans to embark on an indefinite strike if their outstanding salaries are not paid within 3 weeks. The unions are demanding, amongst other things, the payment of 4 months withheld salaries, improved remuneration, earned allowances, and the implementation of 2009 agreements with the government. The federal government, through the Ministry of Labour and Employment, had invoked the no work, no pay policy with the 4 university-based unions embarked on prolonged strike in 2022. In a statement jointly signed by SANU President Mr. Mohammed Ibrahim, the NASU General Secretary Prince Peter Adeyemi, the unions noted that the federal government was given a 10-day grace period which expired on 26 July 2024 to pay the 4-month outstanding salaries of university staff. However, 6 weeks after the grace period elapsed, the government has yet to fulfill this obligation. The statement added that during the national minimum wage meeting, President Bola Tinubu had approved the payment of the 4 months withheld salaries on 18 July 2024, following discussions with the leadership of Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress. Now on business news, the federal government has unveiled an advanced supervisory control and data acquisition system for managing the national power grid. This new technology promises to enhance the efficiency, reliability and sustainability of the country's power sector supply, positioning Nigeria for a more suitable or stable energy future. The Ministry of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, in a speech delivered on Wednesday at the unveiling in Abuja by Emmanuel Nosike, emphasized the transformative impact of the new SCADA system. The minister added that this development aligns with the government's objective to achieving energy security and expanding access to electricity for all Nigerians. ATN reports that the SCADA system provides real-time monitoring and control of the national grid, enabling operators to detect faults and manage it properly. The managing director of the TCN, Dr. Sule Abdulaziz, also highlighted the significance of the project. He said the SCADA is a key part of their strategic efforts to modernize our power structure. He further explained that a special team had been established to avoid the mistakes of the past, ensuring the success of its latest initiative. Federal Inland Revenue Service said it will introduce the FIRS e-invoice in a digital solution for managing invoices in line with the Tax Administration and Enforcement Act of 2007. Executive Chairman FIRS, Dr. Zacchaeus Adedeji, stated this on Wednesday in Lagos at the LCCI FIRS organized private sector stakeholders engagement with the theme Emerging Tax Matters. Adedeji, who was represented by Mrs. Oti Olaniyi, Acting Director, Medium Taxpayers Department, FIRS, said the e-invoice was necessary as the country moved forward to innovate and enhance its tax system. He said initiative was, or as part of the service digital transformation strategy, would facilitate real-time transaction, validation and storage, benefiting business to business, business to customer and business to government transaction. He noted that the emerging tax matters in Nigeria presented both challenges and opportunities. The FIRS boss noted that significant developments such as the recent organizational restructuring of the FIRS and other tax reforms has taken place in the taxation landscape. He said that the country could develop a tax system that will support sustainable growth and equitable development by embracing reforms, leveraging technology and ensuring transparency. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has issued an updated breakdown of the estimated price of petrol purchased by the Dangote refinery. Earlier on Monday morning, the NNPC provided a chart detailing the refined petrol it acquired from Dangote refinery on Sunday, September 15, stating that payments from the September 2024 petrol supply are being made to Dangote refinery in US dollars with Naira-based transactions scheduled to begin on October 1st, 2024. Our Abuja correspondent Joseph Moses completes the report.
The Nigeria National Petroleum Company, NNPC, began loading premium motor spirits, PMS, from the Dangote refinery on Sunday, September 15, 2024, after months of delay due to pricing and other business details from the NNPC, as well as final work on the part of the refinery. This development, if turned positive, follows months of anticipation and marks a significant milestone in the collaboration between the Dangote refinery and NNPC, supplying Nigerians with sufficient fuel across the 36 states. But disagreement on fair price between the two companies that will favor Nigerians and better the nation's economy is now a challenge. On Monday, 16th September, NNPC said, and I quote, NNPC Limited has released the estimated price of premium motor spirits, PMS, also known as petrol, sourced from the Dangote refinery for distribution at its retail outlets nationwide. Dangote refinery's petrol price at 898 naira per litre, estimated Lagos price at 950 naira as NNPC released nationwide price. These prices are based on negotiated time between NNPC Limited and Dangote Refinery, taking into account current international gasoline prices and the prevailing foreign exchange rate in accordance with Petroleum Industry Act. NNPC Limited confirms that it is making payment in US dollars for the September 2024 PMS supply, with Naira payment starting on October 1st, 2024. NNPC assures Nigerians that any discount received from Dangote Refinery will be fully passed on to the public, unquote. In response, Dangote Refinery challenged the claim by the NNPC, denying that it never sells petrol to NNPC at the rate of 898 naira per litre. However, in a statement by the Dangote Refinery Group Chief Branding and Communication Officer Anthony Chijana on Sunday also failed to disclose the price at which it sold the product to NNPC Limited. Big question now is that who then among the two companies should Nigerians believe? In Abuja, some motorists expressed their views.
That there should be a disagreement, because from the onset, Nigeria or NNPC, whoever is responsible, knows that for that magnitude of a project that Dangote has established in Nigeria, that he will be needing this what's it called, crude, to run the refinery, and at least make it available for Nigerians at a lower cost. But unfortunately, the Dangote is being denied access to crude, that he has to even import from outside. And then again, here we are, the same thing, most as if buying it at the same price we were buying from when it was being imported. So what's the difference? What have we achieved? It's so embarrassing. It's so traumatic for Nigerians. We don't even know where we're headed.
And the federal government is not of nothing you can call for. Honestly speaking, there must be a good atmosphere of conducive agreement within two of them. Government must have said something that is very right, and the Dangote must say something that is very right. In which way? That the masses, they will agree with two of them. But when the federal government is saying A and the Dangote is saying B, you see there's contradiction already, in which is not supposed to be in that way. At least the federal government is supposed to maintain integrity of let the masses know the truth of what is on ground in the situation of the country.
Are very hard. The poor people are suffering. So we are pleading as a citizen. We are pleading to our elders, especially Mr. President. Let them do something better for we the citizens to enjoy the democracy. There is nothing in this country that will benefit based on democracy as a dividend for now, because everything, the high price of commodities, the high price of fuel, and the major thing, let them bring down the high price of the fuel. Everything will come down. Everything is going high because of this fuel. So even the CNG buses they are talking about, how many people are going to enjoy the CNG buses? Where are the CNG buses has been going to allocated to? Is it states or where or local government? People that were in rural areas are suffering it more than we that were in town. So how are they going to benefit from that CNG? But the only thing they will do for people, for Nigerians to benefit and enjoy this democracy, let them bring the fuel down.
Killing everybody in the country. And if you take a look at the crowd of the cars parking in the filling station right now, it's because of we're lacking of the fuel in the country. And we're appealing that the country should look into all this problem and put it into consideration. We're calling on with a loud voice to the president of the country, Tinubu, should please and sit down and reason and consider the poor men in the country so that everybody should be carried along. Yeah.
It's terrible. And we don't deserve this as Nigerians. In fact, no human being deserves this type of treatment our government is giving us. You increase the fuel price, the product is not available, the government will come and tell us there's product, the price is not fixed. You can go to some part and buy for 1,000, 1,200 right here in Abuja. So we don't even know who to believe or what to believe again. Because every day the news, the story keeps changing for the worst. It's unfortunate. It's terrible.
What would be advice now?
You want me to advise them?
Yes.
They should stop telling us lies.
Okay.
They should tell us the true situation of things.
Okay.
They should stop telling us lies and have mercy on Nigeria.
We have asked also the motorists who are buying the fuel, and what we get is complaint upon complaint. Despite the high price of the fuel liter, they are still queuing in a long distance before getting the fuel. I am Joseph Moses, Mawinka.
Central Bank of Nigeria has reconstructed the board of directors of Keystone Bank. The move announced on Wednesday as part of the Apex Bank strategy to ensure sustained growth for financial institutions. According to a statement by Keystone Bank lady Ada Chukwudozie, has been appointed as the new board chairman alongside 5 other non-executive directors. They say Abdurrahman Esene, Mrs. Fola Akonde, Akintola Ayedeji, Olusoyi, the Senator Farouk Bello. In addition, the CBN also named 2 new executive directors, Ladi Oluwole and Abubakar Usman Bello. Lady Ada Chukwudozie, a prominent figure in Nigeria's corporate sector, brings nearly 3 decades of experience in business strategy, management and administration. Her expertise cuts across multiple industries, including the ND Industrial Company Limited, Dozie Group, the Manufacturer Association of Nigeria, the Vogue Afrique magazine. Abdurrahman Esene, with over 43 years of experience in banking, investment and management and corporate finance, has held leadership roles in major institutions such as Fidelity Bank, Afrinvest and Global Arbitrage International Incorporated. Following allegations and counter-allegations between Dangote Refinery and the NNPCL regarding petroleum pricing in Nigeria, a concerned civil group has condemned what it described as a breach of agreement by Dangote Refinery.
The News Telegraph equally revealed that the release of 16.8 million litre falls short by 8.7 million litre of the initial NNPCL demand for 25 million litre per day. 3. The New Telegraph publication equally stated that NNPCL raised letter of credit LC to cover for the 25 million litre per day but got shortchanged. 4. Due to Dangote Refinery boast of having supply, NNPCL did not import. If Dangote Refinery continued to shortchange in supply, the country might face scarcity from next week. 5. The fuel lifting is part of the Naira for crude arrangement, where crude is sold to local refinery and petrol products are purchased in Naira. Our findings show that as at the close of the day, NNPCL did not get the 16.8 million litre of PMS.
Looking at our current exchange rate, that will put it at about 800 to almost 900. We are not talking about other costs associated with the regulatory cost, transportation cost, NEMASA and NPA. So Dangote is a business. It's not a social enterprise. It is a business. And the money used to source, to get and build that refinery are in dollars. We don't expect a Dangote not to break even, because it is totally wrong even for our economy. Dangote should break even. The truth is that Dangote cannot sell her oil. I state it here on good authority, based on global price that I've just released here, that Dangote cannot sell PMS to Nigeria as it is now, since most of the so-called PMS they bought, so most of the crude Dangote refinery bought are both sourced externally. They have told us that, and from their source internally in dollars. So they cannot, to a large extent, sell oil PMS at less than 1,000 naira. That is the truth. But the Dangote refinery should be bold enough, should not allow anything to hinder them, and tell Nigerians this is the cost of our production based on the economic realities of this product is this amount.
This breach, they claim, has contributed to the high cost of petroleum products despite local production. Speaking in Abuja, Blessing Akinlosotu, Executive Director of the National Civil Society Council of Nigeria, stated that independent inquiries and critical scrutiny has revealed that Dangote Refinery has significant questions to answer about its production costs and pricing. Akinlosotu emphasized that Nigerians deserve clarity on how much the refinery intends to charge for PMS, considering the economic realities of processing. The council further argued that Dangote Refinery cannot rely on agreements with competitors like NNPCL to set the PMS price, a deregulation environment. According to the council, the federal government's Naira for Crude initiative aims to reduce pressure on the Nigerian Naira and lower transaction costs, which is expected to help bring down the petroleum product prices. Analysts have emphasized or expressed disappointment in Dangote Refinery following the planned pump price of PMS retail from the NNPC. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Conversation, a political analyst, Jackson Ojo, stated that the expectations of Nigerians on fuel price reduction have been highly disappointed by the federal government as well as the NNPC and Dangote Refinery.
Sell it for 100 naira or 200 or 300. But even if it is 400, 500, it would have been okay. But you see the controversies around. As of yesterday night, I still heard that Dangote was arguing with NNPC that the price NNPC were claiming now that they bought it from Dangote. Dangote said that was not the price. He sold it to them.
Meanwhile, Mr. Lekon Ojo condemned the lack of transparency on the path of the NNPC.
But they have not shown the document to us, the public. Now, why is NNPC standing as an intermediary between the people and Dangote? Why didn't you allow the hitman,
marketers,
why didn't you allow them to go directly to buy from Dangote? And my own submission from the inside is that the cabal that were importing fuel from a country I don't want to mention, whereas Dangote himself mentioned that country and mentioned the refinery there that I belong to some Nigerians.
This comes as the minority caucus of the House of Representatives expressed strong concerns over the recent fuel pricing arrangement announced by NNPCL in collaboration with Dangote Refinery. The caucus described the pricing as exploitative and burdensome to Nigerians in a statement signed by its caucus leader, Representative Kingsley Chinda. The caucus highlighted that the new fuel price by NNPCL are alarming high and the rate of 950 naira in some regions and even steeper 1,000 naira per litre in others. National Pension Commission has said the total pension asset has risen to 20.79 trillion naira. Acting Director General of PENCOM, Mrs. Omolola, disclosed this in Lagos at the Commission's quarterly consultative forum for states and the Federal Capital Territory Pension Bureau. According to our pension fund asset under the Contributory Pension Scheme, PS continue to grow, with total assets under the management scoring to 20.79 trillion naira as of July 2024. She noted that the steady remittance of contributions by states, with over 236.7 billion naira remitted by states between January 2020 and the second quarter of 2024. And now on international tidbits, thousands of supporters of Ghana's main opposition party, the National Democratic Congress, has been protesting nationwide to demand an independent forensic audit of the country's voter register. Party officials say they have identified errors in the electoral roll for December's nationwide poll that require correction. The election authority says errors that were previously identified have been corrected. Ghana, which has held a series of peaceful but hotly contested over the past decades, is heading to another presidential, talking about the capacity of the NDC alleges discrepancies, including illegal name transfers, missing voters, and inclusion of the names of over 50,000 dead people. NDC Director of Elections, Dr. Omane Boama, said the independent audit and electoral roll is the only way to ensure transparency and fairness in the electoral process. The Electoral Commission has said calls for an audit are misguided and unnecessary, but the opposition wants that thousands of registered voters risk being disenfranchised if errors persist. One person was killed and 3 others wounded in a shooting at Moscow office of Russia's largest online retailer, Wildberries. State officials said the Wednesday an apparent escalation of a bitter dispute over the future of the company. Wildberries founder and majority owner Tiana Bakalchuk and her estranged husband Vladislav, who held a small stake, blamed each other over the incident, which they said occurred over a group, including Vladislav, arrived in the office. Russia's investigative committee with the probe's major crime said it was examining the scene. One person, a Wildberries security guard, was killed. 3 others were wounded, including 2 police officers. Wildberries announced plans to merge the smaller outdoor advertising firm Ross in June, saying that the aim was to create a digital trading platform. Vladislav opposed the merger. Russian media reported that the deputy head of the presidential administration had been appointed to oversee the deal's implementation, and Kremlin said the plan had warned President Vladimir Putin with its progress. Donald Trump resumed campaigning for the first time since the second apparent attempt on his life, posting only consequential presidents get shot at. While praising Kamala Harris for making a phone call to check on him, Trump spoke at a town hall meeting before fervent supporters in Flint, a Bergard industrial city that was once a jewel of the U.S. automotive industry in Swing State, Michigan, before factories closed due to foreign competition. Trump drew a link between the FBI-called Ford assassination bid against him on Sunday at a golf course in Florida and his pledge to slap heavy tariffs on imports from Mexico to China. Tuesday, she reached out to the former president after the thwarted attack. The White House described it as a cordial and brief conversation. Trump said would-be shooter was follower of what he called President Joe Biden's and Harris' rhetoric, insisting that he is a threat to U.S. democracy. Trump depicted himself at the event as a savior of the U.S. auto industry as he competes with foreign companies. China on Wednesday announced sanctions on American companies selling arms to the self-ruled island of Taiwan, which Beijing claims to its own territory and threatens to annex by force. Chinese said media made the announcement citing the foreign ministry but gave no details to the companies involved. Taiwan is awaiting deliveries of F-16 fighter jets, Abrams tanks and a range of missiles from the U.S. China has been upping its threat to attack Taiwan, whose 2.3 million citizens overwhelmingly favor their current status de facto independence. Despite their lack of formal diplomatic ties, the U.S. has long been a key provider of armament and is legally bound to ensure the island can defend itself. Along with buying weapons from the U.S., Taiwan has also been reviving its domestic arms industry. A fleet of submarines is on the way, while mandatory military service for men has been extended to 1 year. China has previously demanded U.S. companies end cooperation with Taiwan's armed forces with no apparent effect. At least 9 civilians are dead and over 2,750 were injured after pager devices owned by a large number of members of the various Hezbollah units and institutions exploded on Tuesday. According to Lebanese officers, the group Hezbollah blamed Israel for the attack and vowed it would respond. The apparent attack comes amid rising tensions between Israel and Hezbollah. Hezbollah said 11 of its members were killed on Tuesday, though it is typical in a statement did not specify how they died. The dead and injured included people who are not members of Hezbollah, such as a 10-year-old girl killed in the eastern village of Sarain, according to Hezbollah-owned Al-Ahad News. About 200 of the injured are critical, meaning that they needed surgery, according to the Lebanese Ministry of Public Health. Most of the injuries were to the face, hand, abdomen, officials said. The Iranian ambassador of Lebanon, Mottaga Mani, who amongst those who had one pagers were injured due to the explosion on Tuesday, according to Iranian state TV. Now on sports news, Nigeria's Flying Eagles defeated Water FC of Abuja 1-0 in their first training game on Wednesday. Bayelsa United striker Rabiu Abdullahi scored the winning goal for Aliyu Zubairu's side. The Flying Eagles are preparing for the Waffle B Under-20 Championship in Togo. The team started preparations for competition last week Thursday in Abuja. Zubairu was appointed head coach of the former African champions last month. The Waffle Championship will decide the team that will represent the zone at the 2025 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations. Roma sacked coach and club icon Daniel De Rossi on Wednesday after a poor start to the season, which has left the Serie A team without a win and languishing near the relegation zone. In a statement, Roma said that former Italy midfielder De Rossi has been relieved of his duties after just 8 months in charge following the sacking of January Jose Mourinho. Roma said in a statement that the club's decision is made in the best interest of the team to get back on the desired path as soon as possible at a time when the season is still in its early stages. The sudden sacking comes after Roma drew 1-1 Genoa on Sunday, throwing away what would have been the first win of the campaign. In the first seconds of the match, Italian media report of Ivan Juric, who most recently managed Torino, amongst the coaches in which a chance to take over De Rossi. Virgil van Dijk saluted Liverpool's calm response to conceding an early goal against AC Milan, and they bounced back to win 3-1 in their Champions League opener. Liverpool captain Van Dijk admitted his side looked like they had no plan during the shock 1-0 home defeat against Nottingham Forest in the Premier League last weekend, and the Netherlands centre-back was concerned against Christian Pulisic gave the Milan and led after just 3 minutes in the San Siro. To the defendants' relief, Liverpool stuck to the boss and Slot's game plan and equalized through the Ibrahima Konate before the Van Dijk and Domzig scored to wrap up the victory. Van Dijk, 33, insisted was never worried about the criticism that accompanied the Forest defeat, which came after Liverpool had won the first 3 games of the slot era without conceding a goal. Former Italy striker Salvatore Schillaci, a star of the 1990 World Cup on home soil, has died at the age of 59. His former club, Inter Milan and Juventus, said on Wednesday. He led Italy to their 3rd-place finish in 1990, winning the Golden Boot for his 6 goals during the tournament, including the semi-final against Argentina and in their 3rd-place victory over England. Sicilian's wide eyes as he celebrated his goals became one of the enduring images of the World Cup on all Italian lips, outshining more established players such as Gianluca and Vialli and Roberto Baggio. He was awarded a Golden Ball as player of the tournament and was later named as the runner-up for the 1990 Ballon d'Or Men's Player of the Year award, behind the World Cup winning captain Lothar Matthäus of the West Germany. He helped Juventus to claim the Coppa Italia and UEFA Cup in 1989-90 before winning the latter trophy again 4 years later with the Inter Milan. He was diagnosed with colon cancer in 2022. He was admitted to the hospital Palermo last week and his death was announced on Wednesday morning. And now on entertainment, famous Nigerian singer, Era Star, and South Africa's DJ Maphorisa will be performing at the 2024 Creative Africa Nexus Weekend Canaks Weekend Concert. This year's edition of the Canaks Weekend will be held on October 16 to 19, 2024 in Algiers, Algeria. Canaks Weekend is a premier event showcasing Africa creative and cultural industries. Other artists to perform are Kenyan singer Sophia Nzao and Nitina Riwen, a Tuareg music group in Sahara region of southern Algeria, South Africa's Kabza, and DJ Maphorisa. ATN reports that Ara Star gained global recognition after releasing her hit track Bloody Samaritan in 2021. Hip-hop producer Pharrell Williams has lambasted American celebrities making public political endorsements ahead of the presidential election. Williams disclosed that he's apolitical and gets annoyed by his colleagues making public political endorsements. Speaking further, the producer said the opinions of most of the celebrities endorsing candidates for the election were unsolicited. ATN reports that a cross-section of American celebrities, including Taylor Swift, Megan Thee Stallion, Billie Eilish, and a whole lot of others, have publicly endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris. Former President Donald Trump, on the other hand, has also scored pockets of endorsement from billionaire Elon Musk, Blac Chyna, and others. And that's the global news for tonight. But before we go, another look at the major stories. NAV begins airlift of INEC materials. Police issues post-flood guidelines. FG unveils advanced SCADA technology. Pension asset hits 20.79 trillion. Ghana opposition demand voters audit. Viral blast celebrities endorsing politicians. Roma sack coach De Rossi. I am any